not the outcome we were like hoping for, of course, but Fallon, I saw you getting fired up on the sidelines in set one. You know, what was your mindset coming into the game, like during set two?
Well, I knew that from watching it from an outside perspective that we needed a little bit more energy on the court. I feel like we were leaning into each other, but I feel like that spark didn't start to get going until probably the third set. And so I think that by observing those first two sets, I knew that that's the role that I needed to play and come in and help the team.
Reaghan, what was it like for you offensively there today? I know there's been a little bit of struggle with that, but what'd you see there?
We actually did pretty good offensively this match, sorry. Defensively, I feel like is where we kind of struggled. We were hitting really high percentages. Everybody across the board was throughout the first and second and all of the sets actually. So it took us a second to get the defense going. We did start to, especially in the third set. But yeah, that was kind of our main priority. What Matt was telling all of us was we got to get the defense going, the blocks, the digs, all of that stuff.
What do you guys really want to focus and work on as a team before Baylor on Tuesday?
I think maybe just bouncing back from those deficits. I think today we kind of got in some ruts where there's a couple points that they stringed along that I think were unnecessary. And so I think by getting out of those ruts and finding different ways and coping mechanisms on Monday for a quick turnaround will be very helpful.
Yeah, but I think just obviously when you lose, my mom always told me that L stands for learn. And so I think just realizing where our weaknesses are and the different things that we can fix in practice. Obviously, we only have one day tomorrow until Baylor, but I think I have confidence in our team that we can use that as like a scouting opportunity on ourselves and figure out what we need to do to win.
What can you guys say about the service today? I mean, I know you had just a couple of chances there in the second set, but that didn't really help things. Just what can you learn from a service perspective from this game?
I just think just the mental component. I mean, obviously everybody on our team knows how to go back there and rip a ball. And so I think that we have been focusing on aggression in practice, but I think today is a good example of sometimes we have to pick and choose when we need to be a little bit more conservative on the service line. And so it was just one of those days where I don't think we were mentally that focused on the service line. So we will definitely bounce back and be ready for Baylor on Tuesday.
Yep, she said it perfectly.
What mindset do you have to maintain to keep focused in these really high stakes, high pressure moments, especially when you're going to extra points?
I think something that we really preach is just aggression. Don't go out there and be scared. If you get blocked, who cares? I mean, you got to swing hard. And I think, I would never get mad at a teammate for swinging and getting blocked, especially on in game, because at least you're giving your effort and all you got. that's as much as you can ask from somebody. So.
You ended up bouncing back from that second set to get the third, but then fourth happened. Just what's been that like from a mentality standpoint to be able to respond like that, but then Brown to respond back?
Okay. Well, I would say definitely when we were down 2 sets, it was kind of lit a fire under our butts. Just because it was like, wow, like this third set could end us getting swept or losing. And so I think we were all just like, absolutely not. Had that mentality of we were just not going to let that happen. Unfortunately, in the fourth, we did get down again, and that's just what happens sometimes. But I definitely think that we're going to be able to bounce back from it.
Fallon, you did get a chance to get into this match this weekend. Just speak to the depth of this squad and what it's like to get called in this situation.
For sure. I think it just goes back to practice. I mean, having good depth on a team is really helpful when we're competing in the gym. And so when we go into practice this next week, I think it's very beneficial that on both sides of the net, we're getting really good competition. And so I think that carries into a game like today where maybe sometimes certain players we need to pick up in certain areas, whether it's energy, whether it's basically anything. I think anybody on that bench is ready to come in and definitely make an impact.
So between every point, you guys obviously go in the huddle and say things to each other. What do you say to keep the momentum going?
Foot on the gas. That's a big thing that we say in the huddle. Push points, all of that stuff. Just be who we are. Play UCF volleyball. We can have a lot of confidence when all our aspects are working. Then we're at our best, especially against Arkansas State. That first game, that was everything. Everyone was on fire, and that's our UCF volleyball. And so sometimes we just go in there. We're just play UCF volleyball, play how you know how to play, and the results will come.
And going off of that, I think leaning into the standard of UCF volleyball and our true identity, I think that's what kind of gets us back to center. And I know one of the key components is aggression, and it's also being poised and composure. And so in those moments where maybe we are in a deficit, I think still maintaining having a steady mindset is really helpful. So.
One or two more.
So obviously the weekend, like as a whole, definitely like pretty much a good note other than today. What are your big takeaways from this weekend's games?
I think obviously it was 3 matches in 3 days, so definitely tiring on the bodies, but I think that mental focus going into the last day, I think we went out very hard those first 2 games against FAU and Arkansas State, so I really just think it's that mental focus on that 3rd day where we need to push these sets and finish out strong on the weekend.
Yep, and although we lost on the last day, we had a great win, especially over Arkansas State, so I think just not dwelling too much on today's game. I mean, we have a big game Tuesday that we got to come out guns a-blazing, and so I think just taking our wins, taking our losses, learning from it, and yeah.
Fallon, you started your college career at a Big 12 program, but then you transferred in here before Coach Botsford actually was even hired, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. So what brought you to UCF from the transfer portal despite not having a head coach yet?
So obviously I'm a Central Florida native, so I'm from here, very familiar with the area, but I, on my visit here, I talked to many people and I talked to the athletic directors, and the way they spoke so highly about the program and the goals for this team and aspirations, it really stuck with me. And obviously after the coach moved on and they have now Coach Botsford, all of the girls stayed at this program. And so I think it definitely speaks volumes about the identity of UCF. And so that's something that was super appealing to me.
What does it mean to you to be back home, essentially?
It's great. I'm 30 minutes down the road, and so being able to be home and represent my home city, it's very special.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.